Hello, guys. Welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Obviously, as always, I've got Ray with me. Ray, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. How are you doing, fella?
Oh, it's not too bad, mate. Excited for this card on the weekend.
Yeah, very much so. Very much
No,
so. I think it's going to be a cracking contest.
no, definitely. I mean, for if you've been living under a rock, we've got WBA featherweight title action: Leigh Wood versus Michael Conlan. Now, I think it's fair to say, Ray, isn't it? Leigh Wood's coming into this off the back of a career best win against Kanju last time out, which got him the WBA regular title. And it's
Mm.
farcical, isn't it, that he's not been promoted to
It
super
should be
champion or
super.
just
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, I think the thing with me is with Leigh Wood. He's had a bit of a hard journey getting there, hasn't he? He's had his two defeats early on with Gavin McDonnell and Jazza Dickens, but he's come back from that. And what I like about him is he's shown a different style. Previously, when he was in the Ingle gym, he was boxing a lot more, using his jab, using his feet to get out of danger. What I like about him now is he's still got that, but he's starting to sit down his shots a lot more under Ben Davison. And that's what's making him so dangerous because he's got that option as well. That's what he's shown against Kanzu. And this is what makes this fight so interesting because, you know, if this fight had taken place 2 or 3 years ago, you would have been saying the boxing skills purely lie with Conlon. But actually, that's open for debate because what I've seen of Leigh Wood in the past, he can box quite well. It's also fascinating because Conlon, at featherweight, he's not looked to physically impose himself on his opponents. As an amateur, he's bamboozling everybody. He had the skill set. He looked really, really flashy. He's found that transition a little bit of a challenge in the sense that he hasn't pulled down any trees. He hasn't set the world alight. He hasn't looked spectacular as we would have assumed and predicted. And I think at one point we were trying to bring him down to super bantamweight. He had that fight against the Romanian kid after he beat so he had the rematch against that Nikitin. That controversial Olympic fight. He had that rematch. He won that. And then he fought the Romanian kid, and I think they were trying to bring him down to super bantamweight, and then this opportunity's come up. So we'll have to see, how durable he's going to be, because I think Leigh Wood's going to give him all sorts of problems. So I will lean towards Leigh Wood in this fight.
No, I agree. I mean, I think this is, we've talked about it before. It's almost like the power versus the boxer, isn't it? And
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
said, that's the thing that Ben Davison, and I'm not a fan of everything Ben Davison does as a boxing trainer. I mean, it's one for a different video. However, what he's done with Leigh Wood is nothing short of fantastic. And Wood's experience now as a pro, isn't he? He's coming into this. He's 25 wins, the
yeah,
2 defeats, 15 stoppages.
yeah.
But I agree with you. I think Michael Conlan, when he turned over, I think we were all excited. We were all probably expecting him to become the next big thing.
That's right.
And
That's right. Yeah.
he's not quite made you hit the nail on the head. He's not quite made the jump. Whereas for me, Leigh Wood is, I think this could be, obviously the Kanju win was huge, but
Mm,
I think this could, now he's got the audience, if you like, this could be the real, like, it cements him as the man at featherweight. I think with his power, there's not a featherweight that he doesn't trouble. Obviously Warrington, we saw his chin susceptible, obviously with Lara.
exactly.
There's not, and let's be honest, really, probably that's the carrot, isn't it? Potentially for the winner, providing Warrington comes through against Kiko Martinez in a few weeks' time.
Exactly. There's a unification there already made. And I think that's one way to look at it. The winner of this one should be getting the winner of the Warrington Martinez fight. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I agree with you, Leigh Wood. This is his coming out party. Yes, he's had the Kanju win, but people will argue Kanju have been out the ring for a long time. I think the win against Conlon is a very good name. It's a good name who's at his approaching his peak, if not at his peak already. Probably arguably a more skilled opponent, but Leigh Wood is the better fighter. He hits harder. He's more adaptable in the ring. He's the one who's the more successful professional. He's the one who I think he'll find it very easy to be the ring general in that fight. Don't get me wrong, Leigh Wood just won't be looking to go and and take his head off. But what Leigh Wood's going to do is systematically break him down.
Yeah.
For me, Conlan, he's got a chance in this fight. I'm not completely writing him off, but he's going to up his game to different levels that he's not shown before. And that's going to be a big problem. He's got Adam Booth in his corner, and Adam Booth's always got a plan. But I just think that this is where Conlan comes unstuck. And I think his lack of physicality is going to be a huge problem, because although he's a bigger man in terms of he's taller than Leigh Wood, I think he's going to struggle to keep him off.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I'm sticking Leigh Wood, I think, late stoppage. I think it'll be similar to the Kanju fight, in fairness. And I think also, you're right, people will say with the Kanju, I mean, even our very own Scott, Kanju's been out the ring too long. But let's not forget, Kanju obviously been at world level.
Yes.
Leigh Wood, in fairness to him, that was his first jump, wasn't it? It was British champion before that with Reece Mould.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm really excited about this fight. And I think the atmosphere, you mix those Irish fans in with the Nottingham fans. And, I think I can't help but think back to Carl Froch, Lucian Bute, and that atmosphere. It was like a stadium fight in the ring or whatever it's called. So I'm massively excited for that. We'll move on now. Obviously, chief support, Terry Harper versus, and hopefully I've got it right, Yamila Bellin Abelineda.
Better than what I could do with my Geordie accent, yeah.
There you go. So I think I've got it. And, Harper bouncing back, isn't she, off a devastating stoppage loss last time out. So, but she's moving up at weight as well. I mean, the question for me here, Ray, she, 11 wins, obviously the stoppage loss, 6 stoppages. She's never really been the most powerful fighter. So, we talk sometimes, can fighters carry the power up to the weight? But I suppose there it's more a question, will the additional weight give her some power?
I think that's a good question, because when fighters lose, you want to look at 2 things. Is the weight an issue, or is it being a psychological issue? Now, looking at her, I'm not too sure it was the weight that was the problem. I mean, I'm not in a camp. I'm just looking at it from the outside, looking in. I think it was more a psychological problem for Terry Harper. I just didn't think she looked right at walking into the ring. So I think from a boxing style, hopefully the extra weight will give her that start snapping her punches, maybe that confidence. But it could be that she just needs a win. She needs to get back, get the win. It's one of those ones where it doesn't matter how it comes, whether it's a scrappy points one, whether it comes in the first round. She just needs to get that self-belief back, because Terry Harper, her style lends itself to being a confident fighter. You can't box the way she does if you're doubting yourself because of her style. She's in and out, boxing at range. She's taller. Well, she was taller than a lot of the girls in her weight class. Down at super feather, and if you look at the Jonas fight, that's what she was using, her physical advantages over Jonas. But I don't know whether it was that the controversy of the Jonas fight. I don't know whether that's affected her. People were telling her to get the rematch, but she's still got talent. She's still got potential. And let's get this win out of the way for her and see what's next for her.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I totally agree with what you're saying. And, the opponent's coming in 13 wins, 4 losses, the 1 draw. Only 3 knockouts. So, the power isn't really there. But also, she's never been stopped. So, I think this is a good opponent in terms of, Harper. She's been slightly inactive with injuries. Then, obviously, the stoppage loss to Baumgardner. I think this will see her get the rounds, won't we? I think, and she needs that. I think it's a really good. I know it's a title fight for a intercontinental, or whatever, one of these many belts in boxing. But I think it's a brilliant opponent for her to come back to, because she needs some rounds. She can come through with it with no cuts. I'd like to see her back out. If the April's a storming month and full, but even if she can get back out in May, I think activity is key, because we've seen the best of Terry Harper when she was active and she was out regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things with Terry Harper is her hands. She always seems to have problems with her hands. And again, I didn't know whether she was kind of mindful of that going into that fight with Alicia Baumgardner. She seemed a little bit as though something was on her mind walking into that ring and in the fight itself. I agree with you. She's got to come through this fight unscathed, and she's just got to get a win, and then she can go on and plan what's next for her. Because this new weight class is a stacked one for women's boxing. It really is.
Yeah. Prediction. I assume we're agreed again. I mean, I am winning the predictions for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah. Just say that again.
Yeah, but I assume we're agreed. Terry Harper does win this. Personally, I do think points. I think it'll go all the way. Are you with me? Or
yeah, I think if she could get a late stoppage in this one. I'm just going to go for the fact that actually she could could be one of those ones where our opponent just takes too many clean punches. If she's crisp, if she's confident, I can see Terry getting into some sort of getting some sort of swing of it. She might not. I know she might not want to be too greedy, but I can see her getting a late stoppage in this one.
No, I mean, and one last point on this fight. Obviously, now she's up at lightweight, and there's some real glamour names in the lightweight division, isn't there?
And it's a big lightweight fight next month, isn't there?
Just a bit, yeah. So, I mean, can Terry Harper mix it with a Serrano, with a Katie Taylor, even a Jonas rematch? I know Jonas has just won a world title at sort of light middle. But, these are the fights that are there for her, potentially. Yes. Can she mix it?
Yeah, good question. You see, it's a whole opens up another different question, because for me, Katie Taylor's probably coming towards the end of her career, so there's a good time to get Katie Taylor probably now. Serrano, for me, just looks... Yeah, both of them are special fighters, but Serrano looks as though she's got much more in the tank. But, hey, look, Terry Harper's a great fighter. She deserves to be in that bracket. She's a quality fighter. But I would like to see her in with Natasha Jonas again. I had Jonas just winning that fight, so I would like to see that fight again. If she wins that fight, perhaps puts that one to bed, then we can see her in with, the winner of... Taylor and Serrano, and see how she looks there. But she's in that mix. She come up as a former world champion, so you can't discount her. She fought some good opponents down there. So yeah, for me, definitely she could be mentioned in that bracket in lightweight.
No, I do agree. I had a debate with someone who didn't agree, so I thought it's worth asking. Now, the last fight we're going to cover on this card, Sandy Ryan, back out. She's 3-0, 2 stoppage wins. Yeah. It's her first fight of 2022. But, I mean, Ray's a recent addition to this channel. Ben, Scott and I, we are fans of Sandy Ryan. So, yeah. I mean, she's going to get the win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Sandy Ryan. I'm a big fan of her brother Dave as well, who retired not too long ago. But Sandy had a great amateur pedigree. It's just a shame with the whole weight situation. That's why she didn't get to really go to the pinnacle of the amateur career, which was the Olympics. But she's a class act. She really is. And for me, we're talking about Terry Harper and Katie Taylor coming to the end, but this is the next gen for me. This is the real next generation. The likes of Sandy Ryan. She's explosive. She can do it all. She hits quite hard. But she can box real good as well. She takes her time. She doesn't rush. She doesn't smother her work. She looks for openings. She sets her shots up nicely, throws a few feints in there. She looks really promising, really advanced for somebody of relatively low professional experience.
No, I mean, I definitely agree. Backing her to get the win again this weekend. And I hope we see a really busy 2022 from her, because I genuinely think, we've talked previously on this channel about the lack of depth in certain divisions in women's boxing, and I think Sandy Ryan has got the potential to be a world champion by the end of the year. I genuinely believe that. Yeah,
and I would go one further and say that she's about 5'9", I believe. She's quite tall for for a girl, and for our weight class. I think she can be a multi-weight world champion, because she's got the skill set to go with it and the power. And when you're looking for people to move up weight classes, you look at whether they can hit hard enough and whether they've got the skill set to negate the fact that they're up against bigger, more powerful opponents. Sandy Ryan's got that in abundance. She just needs the experience.
Totally agree. Right, we'll wrap it up there, guys. So thanks for checking. And also thank you to everyone who's subscribed recently. Ray went absolutely video ballistic on Monday, and we had a triple drop. The man was possessed. But yeah.
We had a good win at the weekend, so yeah.
But a lot of subs gained. So thank you to everyone who has. Spread the word. Obviously, if you are new here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Ray will be doing the reaction to this card, so you won't have to listen to me, Witteron, or Scott. You'll just get some quality analysis. So cheers, guys.
Thanks. Just need some subtitles.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.